Hello everyone, welcome back to Econartics. Today we are going to discuss December 2005 UGC NET Economics paper. Let's begin today's session with first question. Question number one. Match the following. In list 1, we have given theory's name, and in list 2, we have given economist name. So first theory, we have revealed preference theory. This is given by Paul Samuelson. So ए का 3 किस में है? ए का 3 डी में है। और भी ऑप्शन चेक करते हैं। सरप्लस वैल्यू कार्ल मार्क्स। सो बी का 1, किंग डिमांड कर्व पॉल सुइजी। सो सी का 2, किंग डिमांड कर्व पॉल सुइजी। And D, point of constant bliss 5, given by A. Bergerson. So correct answer is option number D. Let's see which theory given in which year. Revealed preference theory given by Paul Samuelson in 1938 developed this theory to derive demand curve from observed consumer behavior without utility functions. Up there is two part. One is weak axiom revealed preference theory, and another one is strong axiom revealed preference theory. This is the foundation contribution in revealed preference theory by Paul Samuelson. Second, surplus value given by Karl Marx in Das Kapital. Marx defined surplus value as the difference between the value workers produce and the wage they receive, the source of capitalist profit. Kim demand curve given by Paul Sweezy in year 1939 modeled oligopolistic price rigidity, rival match price cuts but not price rises, creating a kink and a discontinuity in MR curve. Point of constant bliss given by A. Bergerson. Bergerson's social welfare function framework uses this concept for the socially optimal point under production and resource constraint. So this is the explanation of this question. Next question, question number 2. Goods which are non-rival in consumption are called private good, free good, public good, and non-economic good. Which one is correct answer? So correct answer is option number C. That is public good. In public good in nature are both non-rival and non-excludable, and private goods are rival and excludable. Free goods, goods abundant in nature, are different concept, and non-economic goods are also naturally abundant, not the technical term for non-rivalry. Example for public good are national defense, street lighting. In non-rivalry, someone watch a TV and other person came and also watch just like TV broadcast, but also non-rivalry. So this is question number 2. Now question number 3. A competitive firm achieves long-run equilibrium in the product market when average revenue is equal to marginal revenue is equal to average cost, marginal revenue is equal to marginal cost, price is equal to average revenue. So correct answer is marginal revenue is equal to marginal cost in this case when firm is competitive market in long run equilibrium and profit maximization. In another condition is price is equal to average revenue, marginal revenue, average cost, and marginal cost. All these factors are equal in the long run competitive equilibrium. When we talking about the profit maximization condition, that is marginal revenue is equal to marginal cost. Next question. In the Sweezy model of oligopoly, an increase in demand will make the upper portion of the demand curve more elastic, less elastic, unitary elastic, none of the above. So when we talk about the oligopoly market and Sweezy model, upper portion of demand curve is more elastic, not less or unitary elastic. Because upper segment above the kink is highly elastic and rival do not follow a price increase. A rise in price causes a large loss of customers. When demand increase overall, the king point shift upward and the upper segment between even more elastic since competitors are less likely to follow any price hike at the higher demand level. So correct answer is option number A, that is more elastic. Next question, question number 5. The statement that the compensation principle of welfare economics is capable of giving contradictory result in associated with Saitowski, Pareto, Ferguson, and Samuelson. Which one is correct answer? So when we talk about compensation principle of welfare economics, and contradictory result is associated with Saitowski. So in 1941, Saitowski paradox, the Kaldor compensation principle can give contradictory ranking. Situation A may be deemed preferable to B and simultaneously B preferable to A. He proposed the double criteria, both Kaldor and reverse Kaldor test must be satisfied as a remedy. Pareto proposed the Pareto criteria. Ferguson developed the social welfare function, and Samuelson extended welfare economics but did not identify this specific paradox of what compensation principle of welfare economics is capable of giving contradictory result in associated. So correct answer is option number A, Saitowski. Next question. Which factor does not stall entry of other firm in oligopolistic industry? Huge advertising expenditure, economies of scale, technology, and increase in demand. So the oligopolistic industry, which factor does not stall here? So increase in demand, it is correct answer for this question. In barrier to entry in oligopoly include massive advertising spend, new firm must match it when its product differentiation barrier, economic of scale, incumbents has low average cost, structural barrier, and proprietary technology and patent. An increase in demand does not the opposite. It raises profit and attract new entrants. So it does not stall entry. So न्यू फर्म कब एंटर करेंगी मार्केट में? जब डिमांड इंक्रीज होगी तो वहां से फर्म एंटर करना स्टार्ट कर देंगे. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. A rational consumer choosing between uncertain event will make a choice on the basis of expected monetary benefits, expected utility, expected price, and expected income in future. Rational consumer choosing between uncertain. When we talk about uncertainty, there come a concept of probability because consumers are not choose freely. They are rely on probability. For example, if one consumer have two choice, one with probability 0.75 and another 0.25, because probability sum is equal to 1, not exceed the 1, और एक से ज्यादा भी नहीं हो सकता। उस कंडीशन में जो कंज्यूमर डिपेंड करेगा उसके ऊपर, उसका बिहेवियर है, रिस्क एवर्स है, रिस्क लवर है या रिस्क न्यूट्रल है, तो मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम कंज्यूमर गोइज विथ द हायर प्रोबेबल चांस। सो इन दिस कंडीशन that might be possible, he goes with 0.75 probability. So in that condition, uncertain events will make choice on the basis of expected utility. Why expected utility? Calculate with the help of probability. So correct answer is option number B, expected utility. Expected utility theory given by whom? This is given by von Neumann Morgenstern in year 1944. Demonstrate a rational agent under uncertainty, maximize expected utility, the probability weight sum of utility. Maximizing expected monetary value. This is Petersburg paradox, a fair game with infinite expected monetary value that no rational person would pay much to pay. Expected utility account for risk aversion, concave utility function, risk neutrality, and risk seeking. So correct answer is option number B, expected utility. Next question. Which of the following is not a element of selling cost? Salary of salesman, expenses incurred in advertising, transportation cost, cost incurred on window display. So correct answer is transportation cost. Chamberlain distinguished selling cost expenditure that shift the demand curve by pursuing consumers, advertising, salesmen, salaries, window display from production cost that physically deliver the product. Transportation cost move the good physically to the buyer. It is distribution production cost, not a selling cost, since it does not alter consumer preference. Next question. Question number 9. The most comprehensive measure of aggregate price level. Consumer price index, producer price index, GNP deflator, and wholesale price index. In this condition, the most comprehensive measure of aggregate price level, that is GNP deflator. GNP deflator is the most comprehensive price index because it covers all goods and service in GNP: consumption, investment, government expenditure, and net export. CPI, it covers only the representative consumer basket. WPI, that is wholesale price index, it covers wholesale producer price only. And PPI, that is producer price index, cover factor gate price only. So correct answer is option number C, GNP deflator. Next question, question number 10. Keynesian economics lays more emphasis on monetary policy, fiscal policy, interest rate determination, free market mechanism. So Keynesian economy lays more emphasis on physical policy because Keynesian more rely on government. So most of the policy of Keynesian is related to physical policy. So correct answer is option number B, that is physical policy. Keynes argued that aggregate demand is the primary drive of output and employment, that government spending and taxation are the most powerful tool to manage it, especially in a liquidity trap where monetary policy loses effectiveness. Monetary policy is stressed by monetarist. Monetarist, the free market mechanism is the classical position that Keynes explicitly critic. सो कीन्स ने फिजिकल पॉलिसी पर ज्यादा सपोर्ट किया और उन्होंने जो फ्री मार्केट कॉन्सेप्ट था क्लासिकल का उसको क्रिटिक किया। नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, क्वेश्चन नंबर 11। हाई पावर्ड मनी इज प्रोड्यूस्ड बाय कमर्शियल बैंक, कोऑपरेटिव बैंक्स, मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ फाइनेंस, रिजर्व बैंक ऑफ इंडिया। सो हाई पावर्ड मनी is produced by Reserve Bank of India. Let's see the equation of high powered money. High powered money, H denoted by H, a monetary base currency in circulation plus reserve of commercial bank with RBI. It is produced exclusively by the Reserve Bank of India. M is equal to small m into capital H. M is equal to 1 plus C divided by R plus C. So commercial bank and cooperative banks create credit deposit money by the money multiplier, not base money. So the money multiplier formula, this is also a money multiplier formula, and another formula is 1 by 1 M is equal to 1 plus डिवाइड बाई कुछ मतलब 1/r होता है जो शॉर्ट फॉर्म में होता है, रेपो रेट पर डिपेंड करता है। सो यहाँ पर भी है जो हमारा सी प्लस आर प्लस सी। सो आर है हमारा यहाँ पे क्या, रिजर्व और करेंसी सर्कुलेशन। सो दैट्स वाई। और ये जो मनी मल्टीप्लायर का फॉर्मूला होता है, इसी फॉर्मूले से हम मनी सप्लाई को भी कैलकुलेट कर सकते हैं, क्योंकि मनी मल्टीप्लायर में जो कंपोनेंट होते हैं आर आर प्लस सी डी प्लस सी, जो मतलब ब्रॉड फॉर्मूला होता है वो होता है एम इजक्वल टू 1 प्लस आर, some I think some mistake, बटे 1 RR प्लस सी डी प्लस एक्सेट डिमांड का भी उसमें होता है। सो दैट्स वाई दिस फॉर्मूला इज आल्सो करेक्ट। एम इज इक्वल टू 1 प्लस सी डिवाइड बाई 1 R प्लस सी। नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, क्वेश्चन नंबर 12। A person who left the job to find another job would be classified as frictionary unemployment, structurally unemployment, cyclical unemployment, no longer in the labor force. So correct answer is frictionally unemployment. It arises from the time lag in matching workers to job, including a voluntary job switching, new entrant and re-entrant. It is temporary and exists even at full employment. Structural unemployment, it caused by skill mismatch due to technological change. Cyclical, it caused by a recession, downturns. So the correct answer is option number A, a frictionally unemployment. Question number 13. Which statement would Milton Friedman disagree with? Monetary policy has few short-run effect on a real economy. Second, long run money supply changes primarily affect price level. C, activist monetary policy is unreliable, and discretionary central bank policy is unreliable. So Milton Friedman disagree with the monetary policy has few short run effect on the real economy. Friedman key insight was that monetary policy does have significant short-term real effect due to long and variable lags and money illusion. He disagreed with the classical view that money is neutral even in the short run. In the long run, Friedman agreed with the quantity theory, money affect only price. He also agreed that activist monetary policy is the problematic and preferred a percentage money growth rule. K% money growth rule. So correct answer is option number A. Monetary policy has few short-term effect on the real economy. Next question, question number 14. The money multiplier is multi inverse of required reserve ratio as long as currency leakages don't occur. Option B, bank don't maintain excess reserve. Required reserve ratio is not fair in excess of prudent reserve. And last is all of the above. So correct answer is option number D, all of the above. द सिंपल मनी मल्टीप्लायर फॉर्मूला हमने लास्ट जो क्वेश्चन था उसमें भी बताया था कि एम इजक्वल टू 1 डिवाइड बाई आर. इट होल्ड व्हेन नो करेंसी लीकेज, करेंसी आउटसाइड बैंक reduces deposit and credit expansion. Second option are excess reserve. So are no excess reserve. If bank hold reserve above the requirement, the multiplier fall below 1 by R. Required a ratio. So if prudent ratio, if stationary requirement for exceed prudent holding, the effective multiplier is reduced. So all three conditions must hold simultaneously. That's why the correct answer is option number D in this condition. So in last question we have already know the simple multiplier formula. That is what? Let's see again. So it is remember easy to understand. A question where this question is I think this is. So here high powered money or and denoted by the capital H, sorry, monetary base. And next is currency in circulation we have also given. In short इस फॉर्मूले को हम स्मॉल तरीके छोटे रूप में भी लिख सकते हैं. दैट इज कैपिटल एम एंड इक्वल टू स्मॉल एम. एंड अनदर फॉर्म में हम लिख सकते हैं इसको स्मॉल एम इक्वल टू 1 प्लस सी डिवाइड बाई आर प्लस सी. और मनी सप्लाई का जो कॉन्सेप्ट है वो मनी मल्टीप्लायर के फॉर्मूला के ऊपर ही बेस्ड है. अब इसका मैं बता रहा था आपको कि इसका एक और फॉर्मूला होता है जो मुझे याद नहीं आ रहा था. सो लेट्स सी दैट फॉर्मूला. दैट इज m इक्वल टू 1 प्लस सी डिवाइड बाई सी प्लस आर प्लस ई. हेयर सी जो है वो हमारा करेंसी रेशियो है, आर हमारा रिक्वायर्ड रिजर्व रेशियो है, एंड ई इज द एक्सेस रिजर्व. वो फॉर्मूला भी आप याद रख सकते हो बट दैट इज फाइन फॉर sometimes question related to this formula and sometimes asked directly from that formula. That is m is equal to 1 plus c divided by c plus r plus e. So this is question number 14 we have done. Next question is the trade-off between inflation and unemployment remain stable only during stagflation when the initial rate of inflation remain unchanged during slack demand, and last option is in the long run. So correct answer is the trade of inflation and unemployment remain stable only when the inherited rate of inflation remain unchanged. In short run, Phillips curve is stable only when inflation expectations are ensured. If expectations shift due to supply shock, the short-run Phillips curve shift at the long and the trade-off changes. During stagflation, the curves shift adversely. Both inflation and unemployment rise simultaneously. In the long run, the Friedman Phillips vertical Phillips curve hold at the natural rate of unemployment, so there is no trade-off. सो फ्रीडमैन ने बताया कि जो इन्फ्लेशन एंड अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट है लॉन्ग रन में उसमें कोई ट्रेड ऑफ नहीं होता है. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. Question number 60. Vicious circle of poverty was proposed by Marshall, Keynes, Regner, Nurse, and Milton Friedman. So correct answer is option number C. A vicious circle of poverty is proposed by Ragnar Nurse. Nurse is problem of capital formation is underdeveloped countries describe the vicious circle of poverty. अब इसका आप सर्कल बना सकते हो as follows. Low income, it lead to low saving. If low saving, so low investment because saving is equal to investment. जब लो इन्वेस्टमेंट होगा तो लो प्रोडक्टिविटी एंड देन अगेन लो लेवल ऑफ इनकम. So low level of income, it's come in here, then low saving, low investment, and low productivity. The circle operate on both the supply side, saving constant, and the demand side, market size constant. Next solution was balanced growth, that is big push theory to break our simultaneously on multiple front. So correct answer is option number C, Ragnar Nurse. Next question, question number 17. Second five-year plan was based on model developed by C.H. Hanumanta Rao, P.C. Mahalanobis, A.K. Sen, and K.N. Raj. So correct answer is option number B, P.C. Mahalanobis. In 1955, a two-sector and subsequently four-sector model formed the theoretical basis of India's second five-year plan in 1956 to 61. It prioritized heavy industry and capital good to build a self-reliant industry base. P.C. Mahalanobis was the architect of Planning Commission and founder of Indian Statistical Institute, Kolkata. That is ISI के नाम से जो इंस्टीट्यूशन है वो पीसी महालनोबिस के द्वारा ही और उनके ही बिहाफ पे ही तो उनको ही फाउंडर माना जाता है इसका. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, क्वेश्चन नंबर 18. द थ्योरी ऑफ अनलिमिटेड सप्लाई ऑफ लेबर वाज प्रपोज्ड बाय कीन्स, रॉबर्ट सोलो, आर्थर लुइस, रॉय हेरोल्ड. So the theory of unlimited supply of labor proposed by Arthur Lewis. He is Nobel laureate in 1979 economic development with unlimited supplies of labor. 1954 proposed the lavish dual sector model. A traditional related to agriculture sector has disguised unemployment, surplus labor, and sufficient wage. The modern sector expand by drawing this labor at the subsistence wage, generating profit, reinvested to fuel industrialization until the lavish turning point when surplus labor is exhausted and wage being to rise. So correct answer is option number C. This the theory of unlimited supply of labor proposed by Arthur Lewis. Next question, question number 19. In the Harrod-Domer model, if growth is 5% and capital output ratio is equal to 3, then the saving rate must be 5%, 3%, 8%, and 15%. So let's see the numerical of this. So Harrod-Domer model equation G is equal to S divided by K, where G is equal to growth rate and S saving rate. K is the capital output ratio. So हमें क्वेश्चन में क्या क्या दे रखा है, ग्रोथ दे रखा है और कैपिटल आउटपुट रेशियो दे रखा है. सेविंग इज इक्वल टू ग्रोथ इनटू कैपिटल आउटपुट रेशियो, इट इज 15%. 5 into 3 is equal to 15. So correct answer is option number D, that is 15. Next question, question number 20. Capital per person decreases if net investment per person is less than the population growth rate, exceeds the population growth rate, is less than the saving rate, and exceed the saving rate. So correct answer is option number A, that is less than the population growth rate. In solo growth model, the change in capital per worker k is equal to small s function of k minus n plus delta into k. So k is the capital per person for when s into function of k less than n plus delta into k. That is when net investment per person is less than the break-even investment. Identity equal n when s is abstracted if the economy does not invest enough to equip new workers and replace depreciated capital. K false. So correct answer is option number A is less than the population growth rate. Next question, question number 21. Is the neoclassical growth model an increase in marginal propensity to save? Options are increases steady state output per person, increases steady state growth rate, increases steady state capital per person, and option D, both A and C. So correct answer is option number D, that is both A and C. Increase steady state output per person and increase steady state capital per person. In solo model, a higher saving rate shifts the investment curve upward, raising the steady state capital per person and hence steady state output per person. In the long run, growth rate is determined solely by exogenous technological process, not by the saving. So ऑप्शन जो बी दे रखा था वो फॉल्स है हमारा और ए सी आर करेक्ट. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, क्वेश्चन नंबर 22. The 10th five-year plan aim at reducing poverty by 3%, 5%, 7%, and 9%. So correct answer is option number B, that is 5%. In 10th five-year plan, year 2002 to 2007, set a monitorable target of reducing the poverty ratio by 5% point. The poverty ratio was approximately 26% at the start. The plan aimed to bring it below 21% as a part of broader target including 8% GDP growth. अब यहाँ एक चीज और मोस्ट इम्पोर्टेंट है कि 2003-4 टू 2007-8 जो इंडियन इकोनॉमी का गोल्डन पीरियड है वो भी यही पीरियड है, दैट इज 2003-4 टू 2007-8. उस टाइम पर इंडिया का जो प्राइम मिनिस्टर था वो कौन थे, आप लोग कमेंट में बताएंगे. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, क्वेश्चन नंबर 23. यूनियन एक्साइज ड्यूटीज आर पार्ट ऑफ सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट. ऑप्शंस आर नॉन टैक्स रेवेन्यू, capital receipt, and none of the above. So union excise duty are the part of central government in tax revenue. So correct answer is option number B. Union excise duty are indirect taxes levied by the central government on the production of goods within India. They form part of central government tax revenue. Central government tax revenue historically the largest single source of central tax revenue before GST subsumed most than in 2017. So non-tax revenue include dividend, fees, fines, capital received, including borrowing and disinvestment proceed. So union excise duty are indirect tax levied by the central government. So correct answer is option number B, tax revenue. Question number 21. Pump pricing should be resorted to at a time of inflation, deflation, reflection, and none of the above. So correct answer is option number B, that is deflation. So pump pricing Keynesian concept है ये, refers to the temporary government injection of spending to stimulate a depressed economy, just as a small amount of water is poured into a pump to start it. It is appropriate during deflation or depression when private demand has collapsed. So during inflation, it would be counterproductive, further stimulating an already overheated economy. So in this condition, the correct answer is pump pricing, option number B, that is deflation. Next question, question number 25. VAT is imposed at the final stage only, at the first stage only, directly on consumer, and at every stage between production and consumption. Which one is correct answer? So option number D is correct. At every stage between production and consumption. VAT is what? VAT is the value added tax. It levied at every stage of production and distribution chain. Each registered dealers pay tax only on the value added at their stage output tax minus input tax credit, preventing cascading tax on tax. The economic burden ultimately fall on the final consumer. So key distinction are retail tax, sell tax is the final stage only. अब यहाँ पे जो ऑप्शन दे रखा था हमारा एट फाइनल स्टेज ओनली, तो वो टैक्स होगा हमारा रिटेल सेल्स टैक्स। टर्नओवर टैक्स नो क्रेडिट, एंड वैल्यू एडेड टैक्स इज स्टेड विद द इनपुट क्रेडिट। सो करेक्ट आंसर इज ऑप्शन नंबर डी, एट every stage between production and consumption. Question number 26. A temporary increase in marginal tax rate will increase employment, increase output, raise the deficit, and lower output. A temporary increase in marginal tax, it lead to lower output. So correct answer is option number D, that is lower output. A temporary increase in marginal tax rate, two adverse effect on output. One is supply side and second is demand side. So higher marginal tax reduce the reward for work and investment, discouraging labor supply and capital formation. At demand side, reduced disposable income, lower consumption and aggregate demand. Even if temporary, the intertemporal substitution effect work less now, work more when tax fall, further reduce current output consistent with the Laffer curve argument. So in this condition, a demand side, from demand side the लेफर कर्व भी कंडीशन भी आ जाएगी, जहां पर भी बेस तो जैसे 100% टैक्स कलेक्शन का होना है, स्टार्ट फ्रॉम 0 to 100%, आफ्टर 100% पीपल आर क्विट फ्रॉम जॉब बिकॉज दे आर पेड 100% टैक्स। सो उनको जब टैक्स फुल पे करना पड़ रहा है, दे आर वांट टू प्रेफर अ लेजर नॉट अ वर्क। ओके, सो करेक्ट आंसर इज ऑप्शन नंबर डी, लोअर आउटपुट। Question number 27. Tax on inherited property in is an example of sales tax, income tax, wealth tax, and value added tax. So correct answer is inherited property. So इस पे क्या टैक्स लगेगा? वो है हमारा वेल्थ टैक्स। So, inheritance estate tax is levied on the transfer of accumulated wealth property from the decades to heirs. It is classified as a wealth tax or capital transfer tax. In India, had a state duty abolished in 1985 and the Wealth Tax Act 1957 abolished in 2015. Income tax is an annual income flow. Sales tax is the transaction and VAT is no value addition. At every stage आपको टैक्स पे ही करना पड़ेगा, in which value added tax. Next question, question number 28. When government expenditure exceed total government receipt, the budget deficit is positive, negative, zero, and indeterminate. So correct answer is option number A, that is positive. Budget deficit, government expenditure minus government receipt. When expenditure is greater than receipt, the deficit is positive number. A negative value indicate a surplus. Zero is balanced budget. So the deficit must be financed by borrowing, market loan, treasury bills, or monetization. Monetization. India's physical deficit is widely tracked as a percentage of GDP, और जो 2003 में एक एक्ट भी आया था डेफिसिट कम करने के लिए, दिस इज नेमली अ FRBM एक्ट, और इसका टारगेट था 3% ऑफ GDP. सो करेक्ट आंसर इज ऑप्शन नंबर ए, अ पॉजिटिव. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, क्वेश्चन नंबर 29. A Laffer curve demonstrate the relationship between. यहाँ हमने क्वेश्चन देखा था लेफर कर्व से रिलेटेड. कहाँ पर है? तो यहाँ पर भी वही वैल्यू फॉलो होगी. सो लेफर कर्व इज related to what and relationship? Inflation and nominal interest rate, tax rate and total tax revenue, a real interest rate and investment, and none of the above. So correct answer is option number B, tax rate and total tax revenue. Laffer curve, popularized by the Arthur Laffer in year 1970s, shows that tax revenue is non-linear function of the tax rate. At 0% and 100%, the revenue is zero. Somewhere between it is revenue maximizing rate. Beyond the optimum, higher rates reduce works investment incentives sufficiently to lower total revenue. It underpinned a recurrent supply side tax cuts. So this is correct. At its Fisher effect and investment demand theory. Next, question number 30. Rupees per US dollar exchange rate changes from 44 to 46. This implies appreciation of the rupee, depreciation of the rupee, devaluation of the rupee, and exchange rate remain the same. So correct answer is option number B, that is depreciation of the rupee. More rupees are needed per dollar from 44 to 46, meaning the rupee has lost value. This is depreciation. Key distinction: a depreciation market drive fall in currency value, flexible and managed float system. Devaluation is the official government decision to lower the currency value under a fixed exchange rate system. Example: India's devaluation in 1966 and 1991. Two times India devaluation our currency. So one is 1966 and another is 1991. Next question, question number 31. Match the following international theory. तो ये लिस्ट वन में दे रखी है मैं थ्योरी, एंड लिस्ट टू में है मैं दे रखा है इकोनॉमिस्ट के नेम. सो इन्फेंट इंडस्ट्री आर्ग्यूमेंट, दिस इज गिवन बाय whom? So this is given by Frederick List. Second, factor price equalization theorem given by Axel Ohlin. Opportunity cost given by Havelaar. Absolute cost advantage given by Adam Smith. So correct answer is option number C. In detail, we can say the list, the argued national system of political economy 1841, that developing nations should protect infant industry with the tariff until they mature. This is given by Friedrich List and theory of infant industry argument. Factor price equalization given by Axel Ohlin theory, show that free trade equalize factor prices across country. Opportunity cost theory, G. von Haveler in 1933 reformulated comparative advantage using opportunity cost and PPF, production possibility frontier, freeing it from the labor theory of value. Absolute cost advantage theory given by Adam Smith in A Wealth of Nation argued countries should specialize where they have an absolute cost advantage. So correct answer is option number C. Next question, question number 32. Devaluation will make balance of payment worse if elasticity of export plus elasticity of import greater than 1, less than 1. इक्वल टू 1 एंड इक्वल टू 0। तो जो डेवल्यूशन है वो हमें तभी बेनिफिशियल है। द इलास्टिसिटी ऑफ एक्सपोर्ट एंड इलास्टिसिटी ऑफ इंपोर्ट शुड बी लेस देन 1। अब दिस इज द मार्शल लर्नर कंडीशन। डेवल्यूशन improve the current account only if export plus import is greater than 1. Sum of price elasticity of export and import demand exceed unity. If export plus import is less than 1, the volume change are insufficient to offset the worst term of trade. Devaluation worsen the values of payment in the short run. Elasticities are typically low and J-curve effect before improving in the medium term. So it will beneficial in which case when the devolution improve the current account only if export plus import is greater than 1, and another case is export plus import is less than 1. The value change are insufficient to offset the worst term of trade and devolution version of the balance of payment. So correct answer is option number B, less than 1. Question number 33. Secular deterioration of term of trade hypothesis was initially advanced by Paul Previch, John Maynard Keynes, Adam Smith, and J.S. Mill. So correct answer is option number A, Roll Purvich. A Purvich Singer hypothesis independently advanced by Roll Purvich of ECLAC and Hans Singer, both 1950, state that the terms of trade for primary commodity exporters, developing countries, periphery tend to deteriorate secularly relative to manufactured goods exporters, developed countries center. Region is low income elasticity of demand for primary goods, technical progress benefited retained in the center and higher wages. This form the foundation of dependency theory and input substitution industrialization. So correct answer is option number which A, role previous. Next question, question number 34. The Bretton Woods system finally collapsed at the global level in which year? 1969, 1970, 1972, and 1973. So correct answer is option number D, that is 1973. A Bretton Woods system formed in which year? 1944. Pegged exchange rate with the dollar as reserve currency convertible to gold and $35 per OZ began unrevealing when the Nexon suspended dollar gold convertibility on 15 अगस्त 1971। नेक्सॉन शोक के नाम से भी जाना जाता है। द स्मिथसोनियन agreement December 1971 attempt the realignment, but by March 1973 major currency began floating freely. The system is considered to have fully collapsed in 1973 when the era of managed floating exchange rate began. So correct answer is option number D, that is 1973. Bretton Woods system finally collapsed. Next question, question number 35. Axier-Olin theory of international trade explain emergence of trade based on what? Intra-regional trade, imperfect competition, inter-regional trade, and change in the taste and technology. So correct answer is option number C, that is inter-regional trade. So Axier-Olin theory explain inter-country, inter-regional trade on the basis of differences in factor endowment. Factor endowment in capital abundant country export capital intensive good and labor abundant country export labor intensive good. And next option क्या है हमारा? Imperfect competition is underlies new trade theory. Krugman 1979 explaining intra-industry trade. Changes in the technology are studied by the technology gap and productive cycle theory by Vernon. So correct answer is option number C, that is inter-regional trade. In which theory? In a Axier-Olin theory. Question number 36. According to the Planning Commission, poverty ratio in India 1999-2000 was 20.9%, 36.0%, 26.9%, and 16.2%. So correct answer is option number C, that is 26.9% in 99 2000 according to Planning Commission. So it is estimated of the headcount ratio of 1999 2000 using the Lakadwala methodology was approximately 20.1%, rural 27.1%, urban 23.6%. From the 55 NSSC Roundu, the textbook answer cited for this exam perspective. So it is in 1 week there is 26.9%. That's why the correct answer is 26.9%. Next question. Question number 36. New agriculture strategy grain revolution was introduced in India in the year 1969, 1966, 1970 and 1960. So correct answer is option number B, 1966. A new agriculture strategy involving high yielding varieties, SYB, seeds, chemical fertilizer, irrigation, and mechanization was introduced in 1966 1967 under Agriculture Ministry C. Subramaniam. It was first applied in great growing region of Punjab, Haryana, and Western UP, integrating India's green revolution and achieving food self-sufficiency by the early 1970s. So the correct answer is option number B, that is 1966, and Agriculture Minister C. Subramaniam in that time. Question number 38. Which head has the highest allocation in the 10th plan outlay? Energy, transport, agriculture, social service. So correct answer is option number A, energy. In India, 10th five-year plan 2002-7, the energy sector comparison, power generation, transmission and distribution, thermal, hydro, nuclear received the highest outlay among all sectors, reflecting the critical infrastructure. Bottleneck in power supply, transport come second. This pattern has been consistent across most Indian five-year plan. So which had has the highest allocation in 10th plan outlay? That is energy. Question number 39. New economic policy in India was introduced in year 1985, 1989, 1991, and 1993. In year 1991, India introduced the new economic policy with three main factors: liberalization, privatization, that is LPG, and globalization, comprising and announced in July 1991 by the Finance Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh and Prime Minister PV Narasimha Rao. Its response to the severe balance of payment crisis, forex reserve fell to just within 2 weeks of import. की रिफॉर्म इंडस्ट्रियल डी लाइसेंसिंग, तो इसमें लाइसेंसिंग राज को खत्म कर दिया. रिडक्शन ऑफ इंपोर्ट टैक्सिंग, पार्शियल कैपिटल अकाउंट, लिबरलाइजेशन एंड PSU पब्लिक सेक्टर अंडरटेकिंग एंड डिसइन्वेस्टमेंट. So correct answer is option number C, 1991. Question number 40. Gross capital formation percentage of GDP as per economic survey 1995-98 was. Option number A 20%, next 22%, 24%, and 26%. Correct answer is option number C 24%. In India, gross capital formation GCF as a percentage of GDP during 1995-1998 was approximately 24 to 25% as a report in economic survey. Post 1991 reform boosted private investment, raising CGF, that is gross capital formation, from the earlier 20% level toward a 24%. Correct answer is option number C, 24%. Question number 41. Target of disinvestment in public sector undertaking during 2002 and 2003 was 16,000 crore, 10,000 crore, 12,000 crore, and 15,000 crore. Correct answer is option number C, 12,000 crore. The Union Budget of 2002-2003 set a disinvestment target of 12,000 crore of for public sector undertaking. The disinvestment ministry under Arun Sori undertook strategy cells of Balco, SZL, VSNL, and CMC. Actual proceed fall short of target and the program remained politically continuous. So correct answer is option number C, 12,000 crore. The Union Budget of 2002-3 set disinvestment target. Question number 42. Domestic saving rate during the ninth plan period was 23.31%, 25.10%, 20.15%, 28.40%. Correct answer is option number A, 23.31%. In ninth 5-year plan, time period 1997 to 2002, India's average domestic saving rate was approximately 23.31% of GDP. This comprised household saving, the largest component, cooperative saving, and public sector saving, which turned negative or near zero due to high physical deficit. The saving rate has steadily risen since crossing 35% by the mid 2000. Correct answer is option number A, that is 23.31%. Question number 43. Money supply M3 in India increased during 2001 and 2003. This paper is 2005. ओके सो जो मोस्ट ऑफ द क्वेश्चन जो डेटा से हैं वो अराउंड 2005 के ही हैं, 2003 4 के हैं, 2001 2 के हैं, और 6 का तो जो टारगेटेड है कुछ 2006 7 के वहां से भी क्वेश्चन है। तो जो टारगेट है तो कोई भी पॉलिसी है तो टारगेट पहले जो बनाए गए हैं ना उससे, अब पेपर 2005 में हुआ है और उससे पहले जो टारगेट 2003 और 2004 में बनाए गए होंगे वो कब तक कंप्लीट करने हैं। जैसे अभी जो हमारा डेवलप्ड का है 47 तक का है, एसडीजी का है 2030 का है, उस हिसाब से ये क्वेश्चन है। तो मनी सप्लाई M3 इज इंडिया इंक्रीज ड्यूरिंग 2001 एंड 2 is 14.2%. Correct answer is option number C. M3 is also known as the broad money supply. It contain money as a currency plus demand deposit plus time deposit, grew at approximately 14.2% during 2001 and 2 as per RBI annual report. M3 growth was moderate by RBI to contain inflation while supporting economic growth, a period of relatively accommodative monetary policy after the dot-com boost. Next question, question number 44. Correlation coefficient between X and Y is found to be nearly zero, sample of 100, and then options are X and Y are definitely unrelated, X and Y are linearly related. X and Y may be non-linearly related to each other, and it is a case of spurious correlation. Correct answer is option number C. X and Y may be non-linearly related. A Pearson correlation coefficient R measure the linearly association and near zero R does not imply no relationship. Variables can have a perfect non-linear relationship and still have R is equal to zero. In classical example, y is equal to x square central around zero, perfectly determined, but r is equal to zero. Spurious correlation refers to the high r with no causal relationship, the opposite situation. So that's why the correct answer is option number C. X and Y may be non-linearly related. Next question, question number 45. Under simple random sampling, as sample size increases, systematic error increase, sampling error decrease. Systematic error decrease, sampling error decrease, both types of error decrease. Sampling error increase, systematic error decrease. Current correct answer is option number B. Systematic error decrease, sampling error decrease. In sampling error decrease as an n increases, the standard error is 1 by under root n. Systematic error buys from faulty design, non-response measurement error are not inherently reduced by a larger n alone. But under proper simple random sampling, which is self-correcting in design, systematic error tend to diminish as the sample become more representative. Standard Indian economics examination text except B for this framing. So correct answer is option number B. Systematic error decrease, sampling errors decrease. Next question, question number 46. Implicit GDP deflator is a current year weighted index, base year weighted index, arithmetic mean index, and geometric mean index. Correct answer is option number A, current year weighted index. In GDP deflator equal to nominal GDP divided by real GDP into 100. Uses current period quantities as weighted, making it past type current year weighted price index. This contrasts with the last year's index base year weighted used in the CPI. The GDP deflator automatically updated its basket each period, but tend to understate inflation relative to last year's. सो द प्राइस इंडेक्सेस जो है लास्ट पे का इंडेक्स है, पार्शे का इंडेक्स है, फिशर इंडेक्स है, और जो जीडीपी डिफ्लेटर का यहाँ पे जो फॉर्मूला दे रखा है नॉमिनल जीडीपी डिवाइड बाय रियल जीडीपी इंटू 100 इट करंट पीरियड क्वांटिटी एज अ बेस वेट related to partially type current year weighted price index. Correct answer is option number A, current year weighted index. Next question, question number 47. Event A and B are mutually exclusive. Consider statement. A, probability of A union B is equal to probability of A plus probability of B. In B, probability A union B is equal to probability A into probability of B. C, probability A intersection probability B is equal to 0 and A and B are independent event. In which condition event A and B are mutually exclusive. So correct answer is option number D. A and C are true. A is probability of A union B is equal to probability of A plus probability of B. And C, probability of A intersection B is equal to 0. So the mutually exclusive event in A intersection B is equal to phi and this true. Next is जो B में दे रखा था probability of A union B is equal to probability of A into B, it is false. So correct answer is option number D. That is probability of A union B is equal to probability of A plus probability of B and probability of A intersection B is equal to 0. Next question. Question number 48. A random variable is a independent variable, a endogenous variable, a randomly chosen value, a function of state of nature. Correct answer is option number D, a function of state of nature. It is not random. Random variable is talking about a function of state of nature. A random variable x is measurable function from a sample space omega set of all possible outcome state of nature to the real numbers. For example, the outcome of die a roll map each of six count from 1 to 6, calling it is a random chosen value. It informal and precise. It need not be an independent or endogenous variable in the economic sense. So correct answer is option number D. Random variable is the function of state of nature. Next question. Which among the following are not sampling distribution? Z distribution, T distribution, binomial distribution, and F distribution. Options are given only A and B, C, D, and B and D. In sampling distribution are probability distribution of a static computed from repeated sampling. Z distribution standardize the sampling mean, non omega standard error or sampling mean, sampling distribution. It is true. Next, a T distribution is the T static unknown and small n sampling distribution. F distribution ratio of two sampling variances सैम्पलिंग डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन. तो यहाँ पर कितने टेम्पलेट डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन, तीन सैम्पलिंग डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन हमें दे रखे हैं ऑलरेडी. कौन कौन से हैं? जेड डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन है, टी डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन है एंड एफ डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन है. क्वेश्चन पूछ रहा है हमें नॉट अ सैम्पलिंग डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन. सो करेक्ट आंसर इज ऑप्शन नंबर सी, दैट इज बाइनोमियल डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन इज आर नॉट अ सैम्पलिंग डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन. क्वेश्चन नंबर 15. मैच द फॉलोइंग स्टैटिकल टेस्ट. लिस्ट वन में दे रखा है हमें पॉपुलेशन मीन विथ नॉन वेरिएंस, पॉपुलेशन मीन विथ अननोन वेरिएंस, कंपैरिजन ऑफ वेरिएंस एंड गुडनेस ऑफ फिट. तो दिस क्वेश्चन इज रिलेटेड टू प्रीवियस क्वेश्चन, क्योंकि टी टेस्ट जो हमारा डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन होता है वहां पे हमें जो वेरिएंस होता है वो क्या होता है, वेरिएंस वो अननोन होता है. ठीक है. एंड जो हमारा जेड डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन होता है वहां पे हमें वेरिएंस गिवन होता है, बिकॉज जेड डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन फॉर यूज फॉर लार्ज सैंपल एंड टी डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन फॉर अप टू 30 सैंपल साइज इज अप टू 30. सो करेक्ट आंसर इज ऑप्शन नंबर ए, unknown variance in Z distribution, unknown variance in T distribution, comparison of variance as F distribution, goodness of fit talking about by the chi distribution, test how well observed frequency match expected frequency. So correct answer is option number A. So this paper is a 2005 December. हमने 2004 से पेपर्स का एनालिसिस स्टार्ट किया था. सो जो 2004 का पेपर, 2005 का जो जून का पेपर है उसका जो लिंक है वो उसकी वीडियो के कमेंट में मिल जाएगा इस क्लास के में. और नेक्स्ट हम डिस्कस करेंगे जून 2006 का पेपर. सो पढ़ते रहिए. एग्जाम में प्रीवियस ईयर क्वेश्चंस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर एग्जाम पर्सपेक्टिव. लेट्स सी इन नेक्स्ट सेशन. आई होप if any doubt please comment and ask. Thanks for watching.